Hey everyone, hey, and welcome back to Battle Rap Resume. Thanks so much for joining me. This is your host, Tom Quee. I'm here with another of something you've noticed that's kind of recurring on the channel of often, those sort of top fives. You know, myself and Definition did a recent body bags one, which was like really well received. Just want to say thank you to everyone for listening to that. It got some, Psychosis Holocaust and Flex Rob recently, and they were talking about, I can't remember the exact battle they were talking about. I think it was a Kruger battle, and it got something like, 10,000 views, and it was like the greatest thing ever in Don't Flop. And like, the Death Battle got 1,000 views, and that is our equivalent. That is our shotty Arsenal. So I just want to say thank you. I've also did a top 5 Don't Flop battles with a good friend of mine, Danny O'Gorman. That was to celebrate 500 subs when we get to 1,000 subs, which isn't really that far off, which is pretty cool. We are going to do a top 5 favorite King of the Dot battles, and just doing these top 5s are really fun because I love doing the Battle Rap Resume. They're great sort of exploratory long form things, but just being kind of centered on one idea is what I really like about Battle Rap as well. There are so many niches, there are so many aspects you can get your teeth into. It's kind of ridiculous. So I just want to say thank you, and if you want to help the channel expand, you can follow us at Battle Rap Resume, get in contact, battlerapresume@gmail.com, the Facebook page as well. People always seem to message through there. What else do we have? The YouTube channel as well. I'm uploading a lot of top 10s. I'm kind of doing like I've just did a top 10 most disliked demo battles. I'm kind of exploring these archives and stuff. And I just want to say thank you again to everyone that's getting in contact with me and recommending ideas for things to do. I really appreciate that because that's a great help. A good friend of the show, Joe, recently had an idea where it's basically myself and the guest would revisit a classic event, say like 4th birthday, and we go from the card bottom to top, go through each battle, the expectation at the time, what it was in reality, bars, moments, etc., the whole theming of the event. I think that's a great idea, and we'll definitely be doing some of those. So keep your eyes peeled. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. You will not miss a video there. But anyway, today's video is an exploratory one again, one that is incredibly into a certain crevice of sort of fandom here. But I'm here with Crafty, and Craft. We're both fans of writers here, and it's fair to say if you're a fan of writing in battle rap, you're a Soul fan, aren't you? You just assume you're a Soul fan.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Soul's at the top of his game. He's a champ and everything like that now, but out of all the things he's good at, that's still the one thing that stands out, and it's the one kind of constant, throughout his career has been his writing. No matter what kind of approach he's taken or what phase he's been in, he's always been that guy, the good writer. And back when people weren't really reacting to that stuff, he was still doing it. So yeah, I think that's kind of the main thing you'd associate him, and he's definitely kind of at the top of that strand of battle rap in terms of the writers of battle rap. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is incredible, isn't it, when you watch the early Don't Flop battles, because Soul was a real kind of, predates 2012 Killer Crop, any of that sort of stuff. He was there in like 2009 sort of thing. He was known as the writing guy. That was kind of his moniker. Which is quite interesting, whereas today it's just an attribute appealed to so many people, but back then he was the kind of guy.
Yeah.
He did lay the track down, as he says in the Cee Major battle.
No, for sure, and there's certain battles and you can go back to and see him talking about similar things he talks about in that round, even earlier, which I might even mention later in one of my picks, but it's really incredible to see that. I kind of always think of it like Pedro.
Yeah.
Pedro has been doing the exact same thing for about 6 years, and 2 years ago people started liking it. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. And
Soul and Pedro have just teamed up weirdly as well for 8th birthday.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know how to react to that, but I'm excited. I'm definitely excited.
Yeah. For me, it's kind of like no one's talking about the hidden kind of Chiller Pedro are battling kind of. I think that's kind of the gold out of there. But yeah, that'll be a fun clash.
I think Soul and Chiller will both have solos at that event as well. They've not been announced yet, but I can't see them that being the only battle they're doing.
Oh man, there's no way Chiller is doing what Philly Swain, who teamed up with Pedro when they battled Disaster, and he was only there for a 2-on-2.
Yeah, and that was an odd battle as well. So there you go.
That was a weird battle. But
I will say to the people listening as well, I've got slightly sore throat, so apologies if you can't hear me properly. It should be okay because I'm taking loads of meds, but should be right.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine, man. And I should say as well, structurally wise, we are going through Soul. Soul is one of mine and Craft's favourite writers, of course. Soul has been on the show as well, great episode. But here we are going through Soul's top 5 rounds, which was an interesting kind of idea for something. It's not battles, you know what I mean? We're going very, very specific here. And Soul is one of those people, Craft, I'd say maybe an Ogmios, maybe a Tony out there, but there aren't many in the whole battle rap hemisphere. atmosphere. You know, these people who have rounds, you can say this is his second round against X or Y, and you know that it's him.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. If you've got enough kind of, should I say, quotable battles, that's something in itself. Oh yeah, he's a sick battler. Check out his O'Shea battle. Check out this battle. If you're in the point where you're like, oh yeah, his round against that person, you know what I mean? You're at another level to that kind of being quotable. I think it's having quotable bars and having quotable battles and having quotable rounds. Yeah. That's probably the point you want to get to. But no, I think it's really cool. I think it's a good idea, the top 5 stuff, and it's nice to be able to, especially like someone who's now in Don't Flop, you know, I'm battling, but I still think it's these guys, you know, they're not like your enemies, you know what I mean? It's weird, people outside of it see it like that. They're all like, most of them are your mates or your peers, and it's nice to have the platform to kind of, you know, no pun intended with Soul, but to kind of champion them and to kind of, you know, show, this is my favorite thing about them and them and them, and go through a list of different things and battles people may not have seen, battles they may have seen, or just kind of put some kind of analytical and intellectual space on them, I suppose.
Yeah, and I've tried to be, pretty sort of neutral in my picks. I've tried to go on quality, but some of these are some of my all-time favourite rounds ever in battle rap, and I kind of can't help but put them in there. Like at certain points, like they are. There's something to Soul that I really can't quite put my finger on. There's a level to his punching that I find more enjoyable than I think anyone else to watch and to kind of study.
You know, I think so as well. I think because he does everything else, he's got. And what was funny is I kind of fell into this trap as well when he came up to Battle C and he was going for the title, and everyone was saying, but Soul's not a great performer. Soul's not that aggressive. Soul's not that. He doesn't have that aspect to him, and C's going to beat him because of this. And the same for Raptor. People said the same about Raptor. And when you actually look back on his battles, and I watched him with a different eye after those battles, he always was like that. And I don't understand why people didn't think so. He was always aggressive, always a great performer. I think his vocal tone and delivery, which I think is a different thing, breath control, all those kind of aspects, he's improved on a lot. But that fire and that fight was always there. And I think when you've got that behind your punches, you know, packing the punch as strong as you can, he's really good at that.
Yeah, he's never been sheepish. Like,
and also with punchlines, I think the way you structure a punchline, Tony D's another one who's great at this. You can think of a concept, you can think of a bar, but it's which words you choose to put at the end of the line. So which words you use as a rhyme scheme, which word you use as the punch, the punchline. And he's good at that. He picks the right words of emphasis to use and rhyme schemes. I think that makes his punchline strong as well.
And before we jump into these 10 rounds, how did you get into Soul? How early into Don't Flop were you watching it that you discovered Soul?
So I was first watching Don't Flop around 2010, 2011, 2012 when I was in school, like year 10, 11, sixth form sort of years. I didn't watch any Soul then though.
Wow.
Because I didn't watch much then. I watched like people I liked to watch a bit of O'Shea and those kind of guys, just Pamphlet, I really liked at the time. Even Pedro, when he first got involved, I really liked him. And I stopped watching it for quite a while. Maybe it was just because it was my A-level years and I was just into other things or whatever. And I came back to it in about 2014, or something like that. And that's when I, started watching Soul. And I was a fan. He wasn't one of my favorites. He really became one of my favorites, I'd say. Yeah, it was just when he came back after that ban. And I'm going to talk about some of the battles that might be in my list that were straight after that. And then when he came back then, I just thought he was incredible. And I went back and watched more of his older stuff. Yeah, that's kind of my introduction to Soul.
Yeah, and I guess just briefly I'll sketch out. Soul for me was one of those kind of people you find by watching a battle of someone you know, and he happened to be facing him. So obviously I knew Matter from Luna C. I was watching Matter. I watched Matter Soul, and Kraft. It's not hyperbole for me to say it was almost life changing in a way. It was just kind of like I've been into hip hop for so long. I've been into spoken word as well, and just in Soul there was this weird. Like I know that he's kind of neither of those explicitly, but there was just this kind of detailed bar-heavy punch that had this intelligence.
To be honest, I remember being in year 10 and listening to Lil Wayne's album and being like, this is the shit.
Yeah.
Like,
the Carter 3 is decent, but yeah.
You look back on that, though, and you're listening to I'm So High, I'm in the Sky.
Yeah.
And it's like, you go from that to like a soul verse or a matter verse, and like you say, it was like discovering something completely new. Like I think the level of some of the writers in battle rap compared to rappers on beat, on music, it's just, the difference is incredible. I'm not saying that for everyone. There are a few industry rappers who have some incredibly complex, your Lupe Fiascos and these guys who are, you know, at that level and higher. But it is like discovering something new sometimes.
Yeah, you can kind of equivocate it almost to how movies used to be the prestigious storytelling form, and that's TV now. And it's almost like the lyricism has transferred to a slightly more underground, streaming market. But, you know, regardless, Soul, it was like just the first time I'd really experienced writing of that caliber and could really appreciate it. And, you know, was really like, you're hanging on the punch because you know where it's going, but you don't know how it ends yet. And it's very satisfying to see the way his mind works. And Soul's one of those people that I would never call him obscure. I don't think he's difficult to learn, but I think you have to watch a couple of battles to kind of get into his mindset, his attack. He does have quite a unique persona.
Yeah, I think he's he's on the line between, on the right balance on the line between being obscure and being quite accessible. I think he is accessible even when he's writing quite complex stuff or certain references. I think he also picks and chooses how to approach different battles. I always think with Soul, he's kind of the ultimate battler for finding a way to win no matter who he's facing. He's faced some really different types of opponents and kind of found a way to win. And, you know, what to say for that crowd or for this battle. I think for his title matches, he doesn't go too obscure with the references, I've noticed. There'll be stuff like UFC or wrestling or things that are happening now, or if he's going to make a reference, it'll be stuff like that. Whether it's the battles where he's like, I'm just proving myself as a writer, or he's on King of Dot or something where he'll be like talking about the French Revolution or whatever. So I think he's quite good at meeting that balance.
So we'll jump in, and I'll kick it off with this is my fifth. I should say, by the way, we spoke about this a little off air as well. The difficulty of picking this top five.
Oh man, don't get me started on how tough this was, man. You gave me a fucking hell doing this podcast, man. Like, seriously, I had my top three. The moment you said it, I picked my top three instantly within 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then personally, I said I'm not going to pick anything from the same battle.
No.
Which was really tough because I think there's definitely, if I was to make a legitimate top five, I'd say I might put two from definitely one battle would have two in it. And I also I thought I didn't want to pick anything too similar, things like that. But then the last two ones I hadn't picked, I shortlisted about 10 rounds, and I just had to pick two. I was just like, I was trying to go for stuff hopefully you wouldn't have picked as well, just to make this a nice listen for the viewers. But we'll see what happens there. Maybe we got the same top five.
Yeah. And as we go through, we'll point out maybe at the end as well other rounds that, you know, could be in top fives. It's not necessarily a definitive top five. It's more just talking points. And, you know, these are rounds that we rank very highly. So I'll kick it off with, you know, you were saying just about how Soul kind of swaps up his references depending on his audience. And this is one of my favourite more kind of obscure exhibitionist kind of Soul performances where he's kind of showing off, but in a very, very effective, enjoyable way. This is his third round against Arkaic.
Because your bars about arms are falling off like leprosy, you're a mark, and I'm stretching these like pregnancies. Oh! You think that you could mess with me? Then you're stuck in the past like you're exploring memories in Inception dreams. That means my level 1 is your level 2, and my level 2 is your level 3. So when I spin his top and it didn't stop, I told him this is end and scene. Bag note. Roll the credits, please.
On the Raise the Bar, this is the last day of the tour. Pretty good event, actually. I remember the tryout that kicked off was Charlie D. Flawless. You actually see Soul in the back of that. Shout out the little dislikes demo video that I did. But it's a really... intelligent, well-constructed round that doesn't necessarily have the thematic rigor of like kind of a Cee Major second or something, but it's just very like the way that he kind of focuses on Ark's kind of conspiracy idea and his kind of like his persona that used to be kind of this David Icke advocate.
I remember now.
He's talking about, when you rap about sex and drugs, you're not wild. You might as well call your album "I Love Going to College" or go on Pop. I love going to college or go on Pop Idol. And he's talking about Ark is a anti-establishment conspiracy theorist who copped Ike on vinyl, allowed to rep the zeitgeist and rep like he's Rothschild. It really like just delivered really, really well. I mean, it gets some reaction, but it's that kind of, that is very elaborate and florid, no doubt about it. It's the Big K would be kicking that bar out of the venue. I have no doubt about that. But that's the sort of shit I love soul for, and this is why it's why it's number 5 for me. It's not necessarily.
It's intelligent breakdown. It's like. I think battlers, it depends what kind of battle you're into. You might like this really general appearance jokes, and that's nothing wrong with that. That's what you want to see when you turn a battle on. Some people like seeing someone really get into someone's head and find their insecurities and little things about them and watch them be broken down. And he does things like that. I mean, to do the whole conspiracy stuff, you're kind of attacking someone's personality there.
Yeah. The way, and he talks about him and Diz as well, that had just happened. Reminds me of Reggae Fun because he was in Dire Straits, insulting but never swung. It's just that, it's almost just that kind of like peacock flailing of wordplay there that's just very, very intelligent, but just kind of there. It's not necessarily to punch, it's just to kind of be found. And I love the shit. And then the thing that I want to close off on as well that I think is brilliant is his whole kind of like where he kind of ends his round by emulating the structure Inception and kind of having these levels to his round.
Oh, I remember that now.
And then sort of my level 1 is your level 2, your level... And then, he talks about spinning his top at the end credits. It doesn't
stop. Crazy.
Like, really, like, out of nowhere as well, like, because it's very a punchy round. It's not necessarily kind of, starts on kind of Diz and then goes off to the kind of, the Rothschild stuff and, the Malaysians. And then it's also John Kennedy, killed by magic and bullets, the idea of losing to black guys. He ties in the Ilmag thing. But, that Inception thing, I remember seeing that and really... This is when I was, this is a later soul battle, so I was deep into watching and scrutinising the writing, and I just really found that quite brilliant.
Oh, yeah, definitely, and that was quite a difficult battle with him, just because Arkaic spat like twice as long, didn't he, in that battle?
Arkaic's last round's like 8 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, his first round's like 20 as well.
It was his testimonial, as they say.
Yeah, and it was really good. Like Ark in that, he could have halved it and made it a better battle. That is material, and that's no disrespect to him because he's one of my favorites. But
it's funny, man.
Yeah, it would have been difficult to be in that battle for Soul just because it's like, I'm spitting my 2-minute round and I've got to sit here for ages and listen to him palm me off because Arkaic's quite direct anyway.
Like loads of stuff about his dog and stuff in that battle, like
yeah, for sure, it was quite deep. But no, that round, that's a really good pick.
That's so your 5th pick.
Okay, my 5th. All of mine don't flop apart from this one. And I could have said so many of King of the Dot ones as well. So it's just, I'm thinking Osa, Pigsty, second versus Bender. There's loads I could have in there. But I'm going to go for his first round against Sketch Menace.
Yo, you don't have the pedigree to class in session me. So this earth, like it hurts. I don't need a man to mentor me. I don't have to rep a league. Move transcendentally. Try Mockingjay, you catch fire. Katniss Everdeen. Yo, Katniss Everdeen. And it doesn't matter how great your show's ratings grow, he put you on. If you're Game of Thrones, he's HBO.
It was kind of straight after his Don't Flop ban, I think, but he has this real hunger in this battle. It's just a really good performance. It kind of, you see, he just got the crowd on his side in the first round, which is something he's really good at doing, but he's one of the only Don't Flop battlers who's able to actually go over there and do that really effectively. I don't know if it's something to do with accent and the Scottish accent. I don't know if it's stuff like people like dialect often, even though when he went there the mics were bad, but it was always going to be a problem just because of his accent anyway. But it was just a really, really good... It was funny. It was a funny round. It was a breakdown of Sketch Menace. It had the multi kind of schemes and stuff that we love Soul for. And I remember the bit where it's like, doesn't matter how great you're talking about, Sketch being on the staff team and everything, and doesn't matter how great your show's ratings grow, he put you on. If you're Game of Thrones, he's HBO.
Yeah.
And that was just so nice. I'd never really, I mean, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan anyway. He does a nice Game of Thrones scheme. Maybe that's something to do with it being in the list. I don't know.
Yeah.
But even that multi, Game of Thrones HBO, I hadn't heard that. I wouldn't even thought of that. And I remember Shotty in the background of that battle, like 5-10 seconds after the bar, just kind of clocking it and like repeating it to himself and like really enjoying it. It's just a nice moment. But that's brilliant. And I just loads of nice punches. If you wouldn't, Sephiroth, he was the Final Fantasy VII boss.
See sketching chalk
MC Ben time, like Escher's clock, and that whole like scheme of doing that and the cadence he does it, and he just gets so many reactions. And I just think it's a great round. I just think it's got a bit of everything.
Yeah. Is that the what? It's like my work in Spire Assassins. I'm JD Sanister, Jamie Lannister.
Yeah. That's the Game of Thrones scheme he does after the HBO bar. Yeah, sick. And it's not that long a round either.
No.
Like there's some rounds I could have put in here that are a lot longer, and I think it's easier to get more. It's easier to put those in because there's more content in there. But it's just a really clean and efficient round. I'd say like his breakdown in a secondary bender. It's got more punches, or his first verse Osa, I mentioned that, which is really dope too, and it talks about like the industry rappers coming in and trying to ruin battle rap and stuff, and it's really cool. But I could have picked a lot of his KOTD battles, but I really like this battle and this round. Yeah, that's my fifth.
Yeah, no, this motherfucker is dead. Ghost of Freud. Great line from that round as well. Yeah, awesome round. Sleeper battle that was as well. A real big hit of the whole event, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Really, but most of Souls are probably sleeper battles. To be honest, that's not a good. It is a good thing, but it's not, because more people should watch him.
I mean, so yeah, he slept on to a certain extent, but he is Champa Don't Flop, and other than Shotty, he is the guy out there.
Yeah, definitely, and he's got more like, and that's a different thing. There's the real life and kind of closed circuits, that sort of scene, and then there's the general public. And in those, the two I mentioned first, he is like a really, really big name and really well respected. And to be honest, even now he's got a few videos that are kind of starting to get 100,000 views more consistently and stuff. So he's starting to get that recognition now that he's a champion, which is nice to see.
So my fourth is from a incredible. I mean, this battle is absolutely fantastic. I had the Soul's opponent on early Battle Resume episode, and we spent the entire time talking about this battle praising Soul as well as Mos Prob. This is Soul versus Mos Prob, and this is Soul's second round.
No, because I must stop making progressive movements like when Murray did what Henman couldn't, and make Dunblane be remembered for tennis instead of shooting. Because this is in cold blood. I got the pen of Truman at the execution, no retribution. Punch mics around like Lennox Lewis. Yo, but watch, face it, his hands up. I tend to him. The pen influence by kinetic.
Which I think, in terms of quality, is definitely one of his best. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this round. If you were to give it penalties, he kind of slips up twice, but I don't care. That, whatever. That doesn't bother me. I mean, maybe. But
the only other thing that detracts from the round is that it doesn't detract from it, but you could say Mos Prob does a really funny flip.
Amazing flip
from that round. But it is an amazing round. I seem to remember the whole. That's when he first said the whole Scott making progressive movements, like when Murray did what Henman couldn't thing, wasn't it? And he stopped like 3 times to say that scheme.
Yeah, that made Dunblane.
It is that round, isn't it?
Yeah, known for tennis instead of shooting.
Yeah.
And then just like, I mean, the thing with Soul, and I mentioned this on our episode, is his juxtapositional abilities to go from tennis to shooting to then. But this in cold blood. I got the pen of Truman at the execution. Obviously Truman Capote, great film as well. Capote, but
I've seen some.
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
All right.
Definitely one of his best performances, Oscar-winning. Punch weirdly got the wife from 40-Year-Old Virgin playing Harper Lee. So
right.
There you go. Catherine Keener, what good. Punch mics around like Lennox Lewis. And then, when he says watch faces, it's hands up. Some guy just like spazzes out when he gets into the telekinetic bit.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
He's like, ah!
He makes like this kind of orgasmic noise in the crowd, and like everyone starts and everyone they all just have to kind of stop what they're doing and turn around and just appreciate how funny it was. I still remember that. Yeah, that's amazing.
It's incredible, and it you know, that ends with the Versailles, you know, French Revolution, French recruiting for the Revolution. But like Soul, it's one of, like, you know, obviously we're going to mostly go on about bars. These are incredible bars, and obviously they are. Like, his writing is absolutely immaculate, but he's also incredibly funny, and he has this like weird theatrical delivery that you can pull out from time to time to really make people look stupid. Like when he goes in and like, I'm posh and I rap, isn't that so funny and different? like just the way, obviously I'm kind of mimicking it badly, but the way he delivers it, if you watch the battle, you know what I'm talking about. Like it's spot on.
No, it is. And yeah, he can go from really calm and clowning to really angry and bars and streams of multis really, really quickly. Like quite impressively, scarily quickly.
And you know, he goes in this round, a long round, most wanting to battle kind of similar battlers to Soul, like Ogmios, made your bed, I came to smother you in it. You know, very simple bar. But Soul kind of touching his finger on the pulse, you know, I'm unstoppable now that they react to me, son, recognizing his kind of elevated audience status. The ums only stop because the laughter begun. And then kind of like this could be a slogan. Obviously Soul doesn't really, I mean, he has slogans to a certain extent, but like jack of all trades, master of none, master of all trades, you couldn't jack me for one.
Yeah, that's really nice as well.
You know
really clean. Yeah, gets the point across. Yeah.
Turning up to his synagogue with a supersized shish kebab. I mean, slit it off like Mr. Blonde when he's killing cops. Just, crazy shit, man.
That was almost like a prelude to the later Killer Crop scheme.
Yeah.
Against Cee. He started that rhyme scheme. He does it really well in that battle.
But I mean, it's just a wonderful, wonderful battle. But we'll push on. Your fourth craft.
So my fourth round, again, there was just a few to pick from for this one. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking, you know, Mos Prob. I had that round in my shortlist. I had Matter, a couple rounds from the Matter battle. There's a few that I was like, I can't put him in, but I went for his third round against Olde English.
I'm that Scott-making progressive move. It's like when Murray did what Henman could in the pen game Death Note. You want Jet to prove it? Someone quote me one Olde English bar. You get it, stupid, your sphere. Yo. Someone quote me one Olde English bar. You get it, stupid, your sphere of influence is static like Nikolai Tesla's blueprints. Mainstream Jay-Z, I reject the blueprints because I read the blueprints. They correct me too much, so I blew the reference through the text. It's too expensive, dude, you get it? It's the same scheme. If you reverse it because I do what you do, then I do reverse it. You too dependent.
I wanted one from the kind of 2013 era. I think Soul had a really great year in that, and I wanted to have something from there because my other ones are kind of from his later ones, as you'd expect, because, you know, as it goes through time, you're going to get better. It's you're probably worrying if you're not getting better, to be honest. But Soul's one of the people who has done that. But in 2013, he was already, you know, brilliant, doing it for a while. And it's just, again, it's one of those rounds that's just got a bit of everything. I like rounds where a lot of different techniques and battle approaches have been used in that one round. This is a really great battle from both of them, I should say. It's probably Olde English's best battle as well.
It definitely is.
But I think Soul does win it for me, clearly. He does a really nice, I love impressions. He does a really nice impression of Olde English's voice in that round, which is actually really spot. It's only like one line. It's not like a whole impression, but it's really good. Again, I think maybe another recurring thing is like a nice Game of Thrones scheme. Maybe that's the theme here. I don't know. He had this whole nice rhyme scheme ended on rather dire wolf like Robert Stark's bodyguard. There's that whole scheme was crazy. You go back and watch it. He remixes his Mos Prob quote that you just mentioned as well. The whole Henman's movements thing and pen game Death Note to try and show that he's got quotables and then say that Olde hasn't got quotables, and both get really big reactions. You have to get stopped a few times in that scheme. Which is really good. And I think they're quite fair points. I mean, no offense to Olde, I'm a fan of him, but I think they're quite fair points. I think Soul is a better performer and more quotable. And I think it's really effective. He gets that across. It's an outside battle as well, which is a really odd thing.
Love the venue.
But I think that should have been main stage. That battle.
But don't you think it wouldn't have been as good?
Say it again?
Don't you think it wouldn't have been as good?
Possibly, but I've also battled outside myself, and I know how hard it is, and I've seen other people battle outside, and this kind of adds to why I put it in here, because I think he does so well considering it's a small crowd, it's outside, there's weed smoke probably blowing in his face. I know how hard that can be. He gets great reactions, and he has a really engaged crowd. which is hard to get. All outside. Remember, people outside often there to smoke or just to do whatever as well. So it's like it's their break from being inside. And when you can get those people who aren't really in battle zone to be that engaged and put on that amazing a performance, I think that kind of adds to it. It's not something you'd think about when you're watching it, but maybe it's just because I've actually done that and battled outside. I know, like, and I did all right, but I didn't do, like, I don't think I did that well in that battle. You talking
about your battle with Press?
Yeah, Press one battle.
That battle, man. Shut up. That was a really good battle.
Performance-wise, I don't think I did, to be honest, man. And I found it quite tough to engage with the back of the crowd. And Soul even has a bar about that in this round where it's just kind of like, I can't remember the bar. That's really annoying me. But it's about having the people at the back and the front engaged. And he ends the battle, which is really nice, breaking down why he should be getting better battles and why he should be a title contender. I'll be back when you care less about image and more about bars. And he's talking about the whole, I would have been the champion if I was from London. Yeah. And I think it's a really nice retrospective kind of one to look back on now that he is the champion, to see what he was talking about and how he's going to do it and why he should be the title holder. And there's a few battles he does. And there's a much older battle, which is another outdoor event, and he's battling 2-on-2 with Unanimous.
Oh, he sucks in that battle, man.
But I think it's a weird battle.
Yeah.
I don't really like that battle. But in Soul's the start, I think it's the second round, Soul just starts with this whole scheme about how I'm going to replace the dumb quotes and mum jokes with the wit of a genius, pull you all up to my level, kicking and screaming. And again, it's just a really nice thing to look back on now. Yeah. Like, this was his mindset then, and he was just really hungry and really, like, wanting to change everything, and he went and did that all. So I think that third against Olde has that kind of nostalgic, retrospective effect when you watch it. So yeah, I really like that round. I think it's got a bit of everything. I could have also put his first round against Olde English in this list easily. That's another brilliant round. But yeah, that's going to be my pick for number 4.
No, good pick, man. Definitely good pick. Great battle. One of the battles of 5th birthday, in my opinion. Incredible rewatch value. I mean, you talk about Game of Thrones bars. Personally, for me, it's Wire bars, and Soul has those in bountiful display there. But we're getting into the top 3 now, and this is where we get into the real serious meat of the thing. You said you decided your 3 straight away. I'll be interested to hear. But first of all, my third is from Soul's most recent match. This is his first against Raptor.
Okay.
Like, I hadn't been beheaded since 2010 and just kept it stepping. Like, I hadn't done 28 rounds in a year where the legends resting. Like, I was them and left you stressing. Like, I hadn't spent it representing. Like, 6 months before, you hadn't elected Jed by referendum. Like, I hadn't won the battle of the year right after stretching Nesson. Like, you know what? Fuck it. But you want to talk shit about my memory? You're the ones that's been forgetting. Because I forgot 1 round. You forgot 27.
I think, I said this a lot about title matches on the show before. I really think that when you accept the title match, when you write for the title match, you have to write the greatest you've ever written. Like, you really have to rise to the occasion. And I think maybe that's where Cee Major slipped up slightly. We'll get onto that battle later on. But I think Soul. His writing's so sharp here, and he's so smart. He allows Raptor, I guess I don't say he allowed Raptor to go first, but Raptor goes first, instantly addresses Soul, does this kind of Raptor shtick that isn't quite as successful. Anyone that's seen the battle's probably aware of that. And then Soul, in his first, addresses Don't Flop, addresses the crowd, addresses the whole situation and the fan base and the logic of doubting him, and really makes you kind of think on the idea of not liking battlers or things, even not liking people in a weird way. He's kind of saying, isn't he? He's like, if someone's 27 out of 28, great. You shouldn't despise them for one mistake. You shouldn't really hold it against them in that sense. He applies that paradigm into the battling, has a false choke to reinforce it, says you want to talk shit about my memory, because you're the one that's been faking. I've got 1 round, you forgot 27. The boldness of that whole scenario it's champion.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And what it does is it wins a crowd.
Yeah.
And he does that, and then he does the big punch to kind of back it up with the Holly Holmes boxing coach. But in that first minute, I think he's won the battle. Yeah. Like, I think you going into it's true though. Like, I hate to say it, Raptor's my boy, but it's kind of true. Like,
no, it is.
The whole thing going into this battle is that Raptor's on better form. Raptor's a better performer. Raptor's gonna win. And Soul's been shit, and Soul's been joking. He shuts everything down, and like he just, as you say, he addresses it. It's the right thing to do. It's perfect game plan. It's perfect strategy. Absolutely flawless. Winning the, I think he wins the crowd. I don't think he wins the battle in the same way, but I think he wins the crowd in the first minute against Cee as well. Mm-hmm. I think he does it in both title matches. Someone who does that, turning the crowd against you instantly, that's fucking hard to beat, man.
Yeah, that is incredible. And the writing in that whole situation as well, the whole, like I hadn't been beheading like since 2010 and just kept stepping. Like I had.
There's no lies in there. There's no exaggeration.
No, there isn't.
And if you look into those 27 rounds, like even just really like obscure ones, like his battle in South Africa, I really like that battle. Mm-hmm. And it's just stuff that people, he does, who does he battle? He battles a guy called Fungus.
Yeah.
He does that whole first round about people who use rhyme Asian with Asian. And I did a really funny thing about that. But that's just one little one. Like, he did so many battles that year. And, like, people haven't seen them. And that's why people made that judgment about Raptor and about him. Mm. But he'd done all those battles, King of the Dot, Don't Flop, one rounders. And then people were like, oh, he choked last battle.
Yeah.
And it makes it so effective when he delivers that.
Yeah, entirely. Like I love the whole, like 6 months before you hadn't elected Jed by referendum.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely brilliant. Love that. And like you say, yeah, he goes in on the whole kind of, what does Raptor have against him? Well, he has aggression. I'll tuck my tail and probably choke. I've got a game plan for this Rowdy Rich. I'm Holly Holmes, boxing coach. You get Bagnall's death gurgle. He's like,
he comes quite early in this battle, doesn't he?
It's like his last gasp of air before the salt water like fills his esophagus. It's
he also heavy, does it, if I remember, for the. Of course, you're going to talk more about the wife beater angle that is used that is flawlessly executed in this round. But when he does the first one, you're more like a string vest because you're a see-through wife beater. Bagnall,
yeah,
it's brilliant.
Heavy stone cold bar. Has no one said like 3/16s before?
People have said 3/16s,
right?
Or I'm good when I free. I think Shotty might have said ages ago, I'm good when I 3/16s. Mm-hmm. But 3/16 Stone Cold, they only care about the bottom line, is talking about the 16 bar setup to one punch, which is at the bottom. I've never seen anything that clever done with it.
It's like the first round of this battle reminds me a lot of JC's third round against Chiller, which is just like multiple back-to-back haymakers. The real room rockers, and something not seen in modern Don't Flop, really.
I think if you have like 1 or 2 9 out of 10 punches in a round, you can win the round. If your battles, every bar Soul does in this round is a 9 or 10 punch. Like, it's fucking hard to beat, man.
Yeah.
Like, that punch count and still being direct and breaking you down. Yeah, I don't really know what you. It's brilliant. Like, I don't want to go on too much about it because you can only watch it and then experience it, but it's fucking crazy.
No, that's what we're here for, man. We're here to talk too much about it. And
sure.
A great transition. How the fuck can I be scared about a man that hits a woman? Obviously coming with a very heavy personal here, executed brilliantly with the string vest thing, as you were saying. Nice Mick Foley punch. Mimicking the 1-2-1-2, but then like you want to put on a nice, again with the voice, the theatrics, kind of giving it this odd element.
But it's funny as well, that bit, and it breaks up the round up nicely, putting that little bit of humour in it.
Hole in her mouth before she even opens her mouth.
Yeah, hole in her face before she opens her mouth. So using Raptor's slogan against him, like, that's again a effective thing to do. Yeah. If you can get a crowd going mad at the other person's slogan used against them, again, that's crowd control, that's strategy. It's just
That's why he says bitch at the end of the battles that he's doing, because he's such a bitch, he has to pretend that he's battling a woman.
Yeah, it just summarises it, doesn't he?
Brilliant.
Yeah. Every
time you rewatch Raptor now, you'll kind of maybe even think of that slightly. It's like, it stains him.
Well, the funny thing, the only flaw in that round, I said at the time, was that Soul didn't really introduce the angle. He didn't say, oh, he's a wife beater because he did this or because he said that. Because he said it on tracks like, no disrespect Raptor, because I think he's, along with Cee Major, I think they're the best musicians in Don't Flop. When I listen to Raptor's music, it's incredible. And he's very honest in his music, and he's an amazing storyteller. In a couple of his tracks, he does talk about his past, he went to jail, or he hit his missus and all this stuff. But Soul doesn't mention that. But everyone believes, obviously, because he's done it so well. But that was my only flaw. But then Raptor, in his reply, does a flip where he says, "I have hit a woman and I'll hit a bitch again," and it's just the most ineffective punch of all time because it just confirms the angle. Really, that's all it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise it's a flawless round.
It is incredible. So your third.
Cool. Top 3 stuff. Nice. Okay. My third pick is, I didn't want to go for too many that were long because I think if there's long ones, it's easier to have more content. I mentioned it earlier. So I've only gone for one of his one-rounders because a one-rounder is also a battle. Really, isn't it? You're saying that battle.
Yeah.
Because it's one round.
I guess.
But I can't not put in his one-rounder versus Unanimous.
Have the drive to survive, forget Wayland, have to kill the mark in the sequel, death racing, and if you ask for a trilogy, it'll worsen for him. See, the first was a win, this is curtains for him. If the third is a thing, then you'll burn in the ring, so in more ways than one, this is Return of the King.
At the 6th birthday weekend.
Yeah.
And I was very tempted to put his round against Purpose. I think technically that would be top 5 again. I don't want to be too much similar stuff, but that's amazing as well. His round against Purpose. That's only on like 30k views. That's stupidly underviewed. So
unbelievable.
Pause this podcast, watch that, then come back to it.
You were there, weren't you? I remember you in the background. His one rounder versus Unanimous, I think that's like 4 or 5 day prep as well, which is ridiculous because Soul, that was after Soul's ban as well, and Unan's opponent pulled out and they brought Soul in last minute. And as a breakdown, again, I said I've gone for rounds which kind of encompass everything and have a little bit of every element, but the way he breaks Unanimous down in this, no one's ever done it as well. Like it's a different delivery to the other battles that I've put in this list. He's actually really calm throughout it. He's kind of just sitting there, hands in his pocket with his beanie on. It's like, yeah, you know. And it's a literal talk to him. Yeah.
It's like a talk to him round, but he's talking, he's not rapping, which is really nice to kind of see. It's just making him look effortless. But there's so much wit, like, there's little witty lines, like, I'm trying to think. You tried call time. No, if you tried call time, you can't, it's an unlimited round.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and he goes, you know, I've got a gun so big, I've got a gun that's so big it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
and it's just this really kind of sarcastic, smarmy little approach to it, but it's really funny and effective. But then he also has the bits where he's like doing the punch heavy, multi heavy, the Return of the King, Lord of the Rings one.
Yeah,
it's not the best punchline ever. It's not one of the best punches ever. It's an effective double meaning, but it's not like amazing. But the cadence of it makes it one of my favorite, most memorable lines. That's one of those lines that run around in my head randomly when I'm just doing something completely not battle rap related. It's like, if he asks for a trilogy, it will worsen for him. The first was a win, this is curtains for him. If the third is a thing, then you'll burn in the ring. So in more ways than one, this is Return of the King. Like, you could spit it on a beat and it would sound perfect. Like that kind of cadence, it comes naturally to him. He does a classic Soul multi-stretch where he can't finish without a reaction. You know, people keep interrupting it. You look like a fat and slumpy, sad and grumpy Paloma Faith with a dome shaved you over face, or whatever it was. And when he gets to that point, everyone just goes nuts. And then they'll like, say it again. And I think, jokingly, he's like, start your whole round again. It's just a brilliant moment. But again, that's one of those schemes. He does it in a second versus Raptor with the Tomb Raider, and they have to stop it about 5 times. So I love those kind of schemes. And the final scheme he does in that round, where he's just breaking down Yunan's persona, and again he goes to complete chilled out. Like, he goes from 0 to 100 and 100 to 0 again, where he's just like, to back up this persona, this act, we need this exaggeration of our own personalities and this whole thing about that. But he's moted it all. So he's like, when you talk about the chrome and the gats you squeeze, I'm paraphrasing here, but when I talk about Trojans on the road to Damascus, we know it's an imagery that I've woven a tapestry. Both of it's fantasy, but when I wrote mine don't pose as reality, I think that's what it does anyway. And it's perfect, it's flawless character assassination done in this complete calm delivery, like his therapist. He literally looks like his therapist on the stage there. And I just think it's so different to a lot of his other battles. I can't really think of another one where he just does that. He just stands there calmly and just talks into his ear like, you know what, bit of a dickhead, aren't you? Go ahead and change. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to shout at you. Just going to win by doing this, really. I just love that approach.
Yeah, it's a unique delivery, like you say. Yeah, it is very Unsoul-esque in a sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's if it was 4 days prep, which I think it was, that makes it more ridiculous. But I think that's got to be in my top 3. I can't keep it out.
Yeah. So I'll get to my my second choice, which is the first round of my my all-time favourite battle. Actually, Don't Flop battle, I should say. Soul versus Matter.
So people think because we use wordplay, we represent the same side, but it's a spectrum, mate. This is heavyweight versus featherweight lines. I only do this to prove that your levels ain't mine. So if you're matter, I'm anti-matter, because you can't see me, but your existence necessitates mine.
This is, Soul. This is quite a while ago. This is like 2011. So I guess if you're comparing a certain complexity or seasoned nature of the writing, it's going to falter in comparison to, say, like a Raptor or an Olde English or whatever.
Also, back then, and that battle as well, they're like 60-second rounds.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. It's just really compact. Yeah.
Very brief. And like I said, this was the first one that I encountered. The writing, floored me, really. I thought it was absolutely incredible. I could choose a lot here. Like, I want to credit this battle with teaching me a new word as well, because there's a bar in this battle that I just didn't get. So now he's praying I lose steam as we go down the stretch. If that's what you're hoping for, then don't be holding your breath. Just stand, stare at the flag bearer, the home that I rep. If you want to see Soul tire, this is as close as you'll get. And I was like, okay, yeah, he's tiring, but what's the other bar? Apparently, a saltire, I'm sort of pronouncing it wrong, is a kind of diagonal cross, such as on the Scottish flag. So I did a little bit of dictionary research there, and I appreciate that even more. And it's into the other fantastic haymakers, the whole matter, anti-matter. Like, there's not too much in this round, as you say. It's only a 6-second round, but it's just like the crowd as well. People love it. Like, the vibe is excellent. They're responsive, reactive.
It's quite rare in that time to see the crowd going that mad for Soul.
Yeah.
Like, in that battle, he's quite funny in that as well, which helps. And Matt is quite funny, so there's a bit of everything. But yeah, I totally agree with that pick, man. I really wanted to put the Matt battle in there. I just couldn't find a space on mine, so I'm really glad it's on your list. But no, that's an amazing round, especially that one from that battle. That ending about the anti-matter, your existence necessitates mine.
Yeah.
It's like, that's fucked.
That is some fucking existential shit, man. Like, beautiful stuff, like real Danny Myers type kind of stuff.
It's taking something really nerdy into like a brutal kind of angry bar.
And he goes in on his monotone delivery as well. Surf the beat, thought he could wakeboard people up. Like, it's just quite nice. And again, Soul's very young here. I think he's like 19 or something. I do remember the judging. I think it's Mickey says like, there's been this crop of such young people. I think Unan battled Joker Star at that event as well. And it was very much kind of like, that kind of crop were coming through. And Soul Matter, to this day, for me, for nostalgic reasons, for critical reasons, it's one of the most entertaining clashes I can think of. I think all 6 rounds are fantastic.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's in my top 10 ever. As you say, rewatchable as well. Not just the content; it's really rewatchable.
Hell of rewatchable. Hell of a good style clash. Hell of a good response to each other, and just kind of like really critiquing well. But
was that 3-2 split decision, that one as well?
I can't remember the actual decision, but
it might have been. I remember going to Soul.
It went to Soul. And Matter, I remember afterwards, like, says that was a battle. Like, you can see him like shaking Soul's hand, really like buzzing off it, and it was like it was such a good.
It was a really close battle. Even now, I'd find it hard to say who won that. Yeah,
hella. Like, I could totally understand if people didn't give it to Soul, because like he does have a kind of like it's like when I go into Depeche Mode, you need your own personal Jesus and all that sort of stuff. Like he has the aggression back there, and the whole Matter make up everything kind of bar. Like and Matter's like Soul won't be seeing capital South Korea, like Soul capital shit, like his Korea South, great shit. But your second favorite Soul round, Kraft?
Second favorite, and again, a lot of people will probably say this should be number 1. I don't know, but it's my number 2. It's Soul's third round against Cee Major.
Because I gardened the seed, put bark on this tree. Still, you shouldn't bark up this tree, because you try bite, but you aren't what you eat. I wore my heart on my sleeve and watched arteries bleed, so artists like Seed could come and take part in this league. If I didn't stick to bars and defeat, you find it hard to succeed. So this the Spartan regime in the arms of defeat. When the archers release, act a god and get scarred for your cheek. So either I bury and move to Emirates over like Arsenal's team.
So this is just, I mean, it's one scheme in it that basically kind of is the one, but it's a long round because it's a title match. So he says a lot of things, he brings up a lot of things, but I mean, it's one angle and one scheme in particular that soars up the list, forces it so high as well. He does the whole introduction to it with the whole I garden the seed, wore my heart on my sleeve, so artists like Cee could take part in this league. You know, I stuck to bars in defeat. He's talking about how it wasn't for me, you never would have had that platform to be what you are. And it's such an effective angle. And then he kind of goes into, oh, but you're from the 2012 Killer Crop, right? Which has been this thing going on for ages anyway. So many people have done Killer Crop schemes. It's just this known thing by this time, and he just shuts it all down with the, oh, you mean 2012 only here because of Mark Griston Blizzard Crop? And then it's just like the room, the camera on footage doesn't do justice to it. In the room, then it shut the place down. Like the whole venue just went crazy. And then he does this Killer Crop scheme until pretty much the end of the round, rhyming the entire thing and keeping it all incredibly relevant. I'll tell you how good this round is. I'm still kind of leaning towards Cee winning that battle.
What?
Yeah, I think. Not leaning, maybe. If I'm leaning, it's just a little bit. Yeah, I've still gone to and fro. Yeah, the first round, obviously, I think Cee gets because it's close anyway, but Soul has the choke. I think the second round, just for various reasons, it's an amazing round. That could have been on my list as well. As I said, I don't want to put two rounds from the same battle in my list. It's quite close. I think Cee's writing's brilliant in that second. He's quite slept on. I could have given it to him, right? But Soul's third probably wins the battle. That's how good this round is. That's how good I can justify this round being, because I might have Cee winning that battle and I can still give it to Soul based on one round. Because his third round it's a body. It's a body. Like, and I'm a Cee fan. I'll say that this round is a body bag. Like, it's the way he takes the angle and pretty much uses one rhyme scheme and goes in on everything and mentions absolutely everything. Yeah, I think it's just different level of writing. I think a lot of people have tried to emulate this since he's done it and haven't been able to, this style.
Yeah, I get you, man, and I am a Cee fan. 10,000 Hours, in my eyes, is one of the best things I've heard all year.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Definitely download that.
It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, shout out to Cee Major, amazing mixtape. This battle's a 3-0 in my opinion.
Okay, fair play. Even with the choke.
Yeah,
it's quite a big choke.
I'm not one of those people that holds it against people, but I get you.
Yeah.
You know, I completely understand that. I just think quality wise, I think Cee wrote better in the Ogmios battle. I think Cee wrote better in the Bam Cystic battle. I don't know. His stuff isn't exciting to me. There's a lot of like homonyms. It's too much. It's not enough bars.
And that's fair enough.
And that's the reason why the second round of this battle is my number one Soul round.
I really jumped the gun there. Yeah, fair play. That I can see why that would be though. A lot of people would put that up there.
Because I'm from the era of the 360 writers like Tinchy Strider. Before URL turned everyone into gun rappers and Twitter hypers. So this kid's a liar. So if he's spitting fire while his flint's expired, it's because you're using the red dot to gas them up. That's a clipper liar. You should have shown up in some bitch attire, in some partly cropped army top, because you've been backed into a corner by more teenage boys than Lara Croft.
I only couldn't put the second in there because I'm not 100% convinced that Soul won that round. And I can't put a round in it that I'm not sure that he won. What I will say about Soul I know you're going to mention later, so I won't say too much about it, but the punches, like some of the punches in there are incredible. The weight of them, as I'm talking about, like 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 punches, he's got them in there. I just think there's certain parts of the approach and the angle that I wasn't fucking with much. It was the whole the 4-bar setup thing. I never really understood that. Why did he create 4 bars rap? He's like, oh, I'm going to use the 4-bar style that you use, that I used to use, that you copied.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't see how we can justify having created 4-bar rap. That's the only thing I've always had a problem with that. And I think Cee's seconds, writing wise, might just pip it. I think it's ridiculous.
The Shabnam Azad stuff's good.
I think the way he raps
with
it
French players like Abramovich, it's a bit wet.
I think it's the cadence and the rap, which might be something.
Oh yeah, the guy sounds so cool. Like
the way he raps it, like at the end of the day, like it's incredibly well rapped, and there's not a beat or a part of cadence that is off. No, and he's got the bars. I think he's had a bar where he does talks about the fanatic stuff. You're in front of a fanatic with his weapon named. You can go the Lennon way. It's one of the bars out of many that I just remember getting nothing and being like, why did that not blow up? Because it was a great bar. And I think that's part of credit to Soul for turning the crowd against him, like it did to Raptor.
Yeah.
It is brilliant. And only round I didn't like of Cee's was his third round, but Soul's was so good anyway that I gave that round to him. So yeah, that's why that third round against Cee Major is my second in the list. Yeah. That scheme on its own is probably one of the best schemes ever done in battle rap. I don't think people can really disagree with that. He created a narrative using one rhyme and executed it pretty much flawlessly. So yeah, that's my number 2.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible round, and the way that he kind of brings it into this, again, similar to the 27 rounds forgotten, really makes you as a viewer examine the league and the architecture. The whole sort of like, you think you're a vet to see. I think I'm not, because you put people like Mickey Locksmith and Dots, and they put Wilsey Shocks and Tox, and they put Dylan Rob Wilson, and you know what I mean. And then it goes all the way back to the Bronx. Like, it's fucking mad, man.
Yeah, but like Stig and Prof, Gin and Swan. The things he's actually rhyming that are actually completely irrelevant. It's like he didn't actually rhyme them. He just started talking and they were in rhyme already. That's how good the rhymes are. They're not noticeable.
No, that's
just
so
stupid,
true.
man.
That's so
stupid.
true. It's kind of like, when you see like in biology, you see like a map of the Earth and the firmament layers. You can kind of see battle rap and you see Mickey on one and Jay. Like the visual picture that he builds is absolutely fucking brilliant.
No, definitely
brilliant. But yeah, as I say, my first round is the second round in this battle, and for me, it's very much a case of kind of there's a thematic tying it together, there's theme tying it together, but I do think the third, as you say, has a bit more of a kind of great angle and a precision to it. It's just the bars, really. It's just the kind of back-to-back idea. You have the ISIS bar, pen circles around C bar.
I'd say that ISIS bar, quickly, is one of the best battle bars of all time, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
That bar, the ISIS bar. It's
I thought you were going to say but.
No, there's no buts.
Okay.
Like, it breaks down him as a person, his religion, the way he looks, his speech impediment, and does an incredible bar and piece of wordplay all in one line.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that's possible, but he did it anyway. So yeah.
No, I agree. And doesn't he like cross his eyes when he says it as well? Like he has some sort of weird look to him, Soul there. He just
I'm like you actually.
Yeah, he does. And then the whole, the whole Yusuf Islam, Cat Stevens, what's the Yusuf Islam? Like, just really, really great stuff here. The whole wrestling scheme as well. Christian that fakes violence just so you gain an edge. Just fantastic stuff. Backed into more corners by Teenage Boys and Lara Croft.
It's just a stream of punches, punch, and it's ridiculous. They're all like 9 out. And you know what I mean? Like,
and I love the whole mentioning Chris Tarrant and Major and all the millionaire scandal, coughing without cheating. Like,
that's crazy.
The way that he could just flip off from Tinchy Strider to Clipper Lighter to fucking Millionaire to Death Note, it's just mind-boggling.
This is a round a lot of people say is the best round of that battle. Not just you, that most people think that was just my preference for the third round in that. But like, this is incredible. I've no what's the word? No disagreement with it being top of your list at all. Like, it's ridiculous.
No, it is, and the whole, he's got a 4/4 that's tempo, a hold down C, so the first, second, and third, I'll make him fret those. That's one of my...
I didn't get that on the day because I don't play guitar, but then someone told me about it, and I was like, all right, cool. C chord is, if you kind of know the shape on the fretboard, it is a first, second, and third fingers and frets. Fantastic, absolutely, like, crazy bar. Obviously, Omar from the Trench Coat bar as well. Wire bar was great. Again, didn't get on the day. Someone else told me, but that's sick.
And then, there's tons of bars here. Reading while I'm training to work. He's like the Metro. just shit like that, just kind of like little slept on stuff like that. And it's it's a fantastic round. All of these rounds are absolutely fantastic, but I can confidently say that, if I was to pick one sole round, this is the one that gives you the most enjoyment. This is the one. It's his performance as well. He really goes off, kind of like in like old sort of video games, like Japanese fighting games. You kill enough enemies and go on some unstoppable combo, and it's like he's on that now with these multis. He's just kind of like, he's got so many good lines, so many references from so many areas and disciplines. I'm really in awe when I watch this one.
You can write him all you want. If you can't link it into a narrative and make it relevant to the battle, then there's no point doing it. He does it relevantly. So it makes it relevant. And yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, entirely. So, number one, Craft.
Number one, all right. I'll give you a little context. Shotty Horror versus Arsenal.
Yep.
Right. Shotty's first round in that battle was, for me, the best ever round in battle rap ever.
Wow.
It's my most rewatched round. It's the narrative, the breakdown, the punches, the multi-schemes, the way it's rapped, the cadence, the delivery, everything, the performance. Perfect, flawless, best ever round. That was only eclipsed this year. Not eclipsed, actually, only equaled this year. So I've now got two favourite of all rounds of all time. And yeah, one of those is Souls. It's the one that's first in my list, and it is, you've already mentioned it, it's his first round against Raptor.
Yeah.
Well, fuck your bars. Let's get personal, since you actually think I'm shook, and how the fuck could I be scared of a man that would hit a woman? Yo, I said you deserved this shot. I was trying to be a nice geezer. It was you, Quiller, Gems, and both of those guys beat you. But Gems, did you turn Big T to a string vest? Woo! That line's ether, but you're more like a string vest. Cause you're a see-through white beater.
That's my number one. There's just nothing that comes close to it. One of my friends, actually, when I was talking to him about this podcast, I was like, I'm struggling to pick like the order of this. And I was like, but this is my number one. He was like, but you've got to put the second round versus Raptor in there as well. Because that is incredible. That technically, as I said at the start, it technically is a top 5 round. I'm not putting two from the same battle. So I will shout that one out anyway, because that is an amazing round. But this first round, like you've already said, it's the way he won the crowd in that 30 seconds. It's the way he changed the whole atmosphere of the room and created this bias towards himself and diffused Raptor's aggression.
Yep.
And just the number and the weight of punches, the angle that he picks an angle, he goes with it, and he thinks, how many like haymakers can I do about this? And he's got funny stuff. He's got an impression of Raptor, the joke, the joke with the impression, and then remixing his slogan, and then that just incredible bit where he just kind of says, right, I'm going to stop doing punchlines now and just tell you why you're a prick, pretty much, for about a minute in rhyme form, and does the no Geneva policies, that bit, atone for these atrocities, and then ends it on a broken, weak anomaly, a hopeless mediocrity with no redeeming qualities. If someone in a rap battle told me that I'm a hopeless mediocrity with no redeeming qualities, I'm not battling again. I'll quit. Fuck off. I'm not having that. That is like incredible. And then, as you say, the way he closes off the round as well. Being live in the room, I've never watched a live battle round as good as that. Not just as good as that, as effective as that. It's the most effective round I've ever seen. Because it wins a battle. What else can you try to do with your first round? What else can you achieve more than that? Have these 10 out of 10 punchlines, break somebody down, and win the battle already when there's 2 rounds left to go.
Yeah,
I don't see what more you can do, and that's my number one. I just think it's ridiculous. The second round, I've got to say, is amazing. Don't Flop actually put it in their top 5 rounds video of the month, which actually really annoyed me, because I thought his first was better.
Yeah,
but I think they put it more in there just for that scheme in the middle with the Tomb Raider, but both hip strap like Tomb Raider, and the way the crowd keeps getting stopped, and then he does the whole. It's Schumacher.
Yeah.
And then it's Schumacher who's asking and does the whole thing about it. If you watch the round, it makes sense. There's that bit as well. And in that round, I've got to say, there's a couple bits in the second I've got to shout out. Because he does the, again, like I said about ISIS, I also think this is one of the best bars ever. Where he says, he mocks him for doing the space scheme. You and I verse. He was like, oh, you know a lot about SP Ace, right? And he makes fun of him. And then he goes, but I'm the champ out of this world. I don't owe Ryan's belt.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite ever bars.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's what I said about being direct and being able to write. This is why battle rap for me has the best writing over music, because there's very specific things people are writing about. It's like that person. It's like you can use the same piece of wordplay that's been used so many times. You can't recreate that thing right there in front of you. That's only going to ever happen once. He's battling Raptor. He's currently holding the title. Raptor's name is Ryan. He's talking about space. He's remixing the space scheme. That bar just wouldn't work in any other situation except that. It wouldn't make sense anywhere else. I'm the champ out of this world. I don't owe Ryan's belt. It only makes sense because that's a title match, because he's battling Ryan, and because he's talking about space. Stuff like that is what I love about battle rap. It's the fact that it's so direct. People are writing about something so specific and still finding ways to make wordplay or bars or punchlines about it. And yeah, Soul is one of the best at doing that, to be honest. Yep. Like, it's an approach I tried to do when I battle, but I know there's people who do it better. But like, I tried to do that, be as direct as possible. I think it's the best way to be creative. So I've got to shout out that second round. There's also the bit about the snake emoji bar, which is, again, when you talk about effective bars, as something that's effective, that's right up there. But yeah, his first round, I just think, is the complete battle round. It's on par with Shotty's against Arsenal, that first round. It's just, just can't be topped for me. If that's topped, if anyone gets on that list now in the next 5 years, fair fucking play. Yeah.
Well, Shocks Tony is just round.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be fire.
Who knows? Or maybe something else surprise us. Maybe like Kempler Cervicate just has like the greatest round ever, and like no one can believe it. But just to wrap up, then, just to recap our top fives. I'll go first. So yeah, number 5, Arkaic, third round. Mos Prob second round at 4. Raptor's first round is my third. Matters, the first round is my second, and the second round against Cee is my first. Your top 5, Kraft?
So number 5 was Soul's first round against Sketch Menace on King of the Dot. Number 4 was the third round against Olde English. Number 3 was the one rounder against Unanimous. Number 2 was his third round against Cee Major, and number 1 was his first round against Raptor.
Yeah, excellent, man. And how do people get at you Twitter wise, all that?
So on Twitter, I'm just at craft_D. So CRAFT_D, and craft-D. There's a fan page on Facebook. I got a YouTube channel as well.
Yeah. Shawnee Boy, when's the battle out?
Sean O'Mac.
Sean O'Mac. Oh right, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my most recent battle. I'm not sure when that's dropping. I think probably before 8BW. Some point before then. I think there's only 3 or 4 battles from Revival, that event, that were main channel anyway, so I think that will hopefully be fairly soon after all the Sunburn uploads. But excellent, man. Thanks so much for joining us again, and I'm sure Kraft will be back, and we'll be discussing some other top 5, some other event preview, whatever. Check out the episode I did with Kraft. Watch all Kraft's battles. Also watch all the Souls battles. Watch all the rounds we've mentioned. And thanks so much, guys. At Battle Rap Resume, subscribe to the channel. Cheers.